Okay, welcome everyone. Please join in the allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
See everybody's smiling face once again. Make a motion to approve the selectmen's minutes of September 6th.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We had it in the mail folder, we had a revision on the MS1, the value of the property went up. And there was a request for a solar exemption. Make a motion to approve the manifest dated September 21st in the amount of $618.62.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And make a motion to approve the manifest dated October 6th, 2022 for $768,777.66.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And as you can see, in the review of the mail, we had the report of NWRA, report from HEB on the first two field visits of Bailey Road, and a letter regarding timber cut on Forest Lake State Forest, State Park, wherever that is. And also, you're gonna check on the bond?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Audrey, you have anything to comment?
I had given you all the audit a couple weeks ago, and I haven't had a response back from you. Do you have any changes or questions? Dave Strauss has given a couple things, or should I tell the Kim Green that it's all set to go?
What did Dave get back with?
I don't recall. Do you remember? Was there any changes?
For which thing?
The audit?
Oh, for the audit? No, not that I know, there wasn't any changes. I just got done reading the back few pages, I haven't been through it completely. But,
You want me to wait till the end of the week?
Yeah,
Will you be done by the end of the week?
yeah, I'm gonna try.
I was reading it, but I fell asleep.
I saw something on it that looked like it might be an error.
Yeah,
I'll pass that on to you.
okay, I'll just let.
You let me know.
Some of the numbers that reflected back to one of the exhibits aren't, to two of the exhibits aren't found there. So I don't know how they determined that information because those numbers don't appear anywhere else. So I'd like to get clarification.
Okay, yeah, to pass that on. I told him I would put all of the comments together in one email to him.
I thought there was gonna be a meeting on all that, so I didn't bring my copy in. Okay.
See, I think I have you organized for your budget reviews, and we have a work session on Tuesday, the 11th at 11 to do some work on them.
Yeah.
And then you have a work session Thursday at 12:45.
Correct.
Okay. I believe you have everything else that you're all gonna lead and go over, so. Do you want me to go over waste management? Cause I sat in on the meeting with Chuck.
Yeah.
Okay, basically what they presented was the charge and fuel, and I gave you the copies of it. And so his estimate to the contract change was based on the $4 per gallon. And he gave a calculation that shows 6-month increments, and they use 3.6 gallons per hour. And if it drops below $4, Waste Management will cut the town a check. So if prices decrease, we'll see the benefit of that, and that was in your signature packet.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have any questions about it?
No.
Okay. All right, and I think I emailed you that I signed up for the New Hampshire Municipal Association workshops. That's in November.
Mhm.
That's it.
Okay, Vicky?
Okay, so yeah, we've got, NRA coming on October 26th to pick up the freon stuff at the transfer station. Believe it or not, there was 18 refrigerators and 34 ACs. Just a little FYI. I'm attending a invasive plant management workshop through New Hampshire BES on this Thursday. And Primex, our insurance company, had sent me a letter. I'll read it to you. It says, thank you for inviting me to visit your transfer station to conduct a site assessment. This requested assessment was for the purposes of identifying any deficiencies and or safety hazards. The meeting with the board member, Vicky Kirkwood, and the transfer station manager, Mark Bougier, allowed me to gain a better understanding of your needs from a risk management perspective. As I shared with Ms. Kirkwood and Mr. Bougier, my objective was to view the site, make suggestions that could limit loss potential for employees and the public while reducing liability exposure. The observations I made are outlined in the attached pages as recommendations. I recognize that some recommendations can be addressed quickly and for a minimal cost, while others need more planning and budgeting to fully address. Please keep me apprised of any actions you take in any effort to improve this location. If you have any questions, I invite you to call. Thank you for your time and assistance. So basically, there was a suggestion that a gate-style guardrail in front of the glass containers that they can lock and unlock and open the doors for the people that work there, for the crew, to be able to get in there. Otherwise, it will be locked for anybody, so that if they decide they want to throw the glass into the containers, that they won't fall into the container. So we're gonna be looking into that. She wants a 4.5 foot high style. She requested that we paint the metal step-up platform in front of the compactors with the OSHA yellow to make it obvious, and people see it and don't trip on it. And basically, that's about all I have.
Speaking of transfer station, you wanna read that?
Okay. To the selectmen, I would like to publicly acknowledge and thank the staff at the transfer station for going above and beyond in taking care of Janet and I when we have used the facility. It has been a saving for both of us to unload the vehicle when we get there, and the whole staff has been so supportive and helpful in getting our car unloaded. And the way of, I don't even know, and, what?
Yeah.
And, I don't know, sorry, I can't read his writing well. And us on our way safe and sound. They represent the goodness in this town. Please give them the highest accolades. Paul Bartowitz.
Yes, that these are,
Oh, okay.
we get nothing new to report on. We do have to reply to Matt over allowing the other attorney, Chris Bolt, to appear on behalf of the selectmen and the planning board in a lawsuit. He's good with it, so I'm good with it. So we just have to let him know that he can serve as the process of service. And does anybody wanna, do you, Vicky, wanna sit in on that Zoom call for the mediation over the land appeal?
What, I forget what date it was.
Monday, November 21st at 1 p.m.
If I don't have my schedule in front of me right now as to what's going on, but if I don't have anything else, I will.
Do we have to go down to Matt's
It's,
office to
Not
sit
if it's
on?
a Zoom.
Well, I don't know if it is a Zoom.
I think he said come to his conference and they'd have the Zoom from his office.
Yeah,
Oh.
so,
I think that's the way I understood it.
well, I don't know, it says you use Zoom as access on almost any device with an internet connection, so maybe you don't,
Yeah, I think you can do it from here.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long ways off to give an answer.
Yeah, but watch how fast it comes up.
And also we received a sign off from Rob Scazzarella that wants to build on Libby Road, Class 6 road, and we should probably take a vote to, or talk about it, and then take a vote. We've let everybody else build on there, that was that Pertel subdivision that got approved. And it was on Class 6 roads.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you have any problem with it.
Yeah.
He's aware that,
He's responsible, the
responsible.
town's not responsible
Right.
for anything. Yeah, make a motion to approve it.
okay, and second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye,
Aye. I'll
it's
sign
gotta be
that.
signed, yeah.
Yeah, date it.
Mhm.
We get the road study back from LRPC. Some of the figures really surprised me. I knew Elm Street was busy, but I never guessed it would average about 1,200 cars a day. 1,600 on Sunday after the 4th. But the speeds people drive. I mean, people complain about how bad Pine River Road is. And there's 3 times, one time, there was one person traveling 69 to 74 mile an hour.
We've been about some.
Can't be that bad. But there, yeah, there's a lot of speed. Green Mountain Road, it was 2 vehicles in 74 to 79 mile an hour range. Yeah, that was before it was fixed.
What we've been talking about.
Mhm.
So, when
I said
Joe
we-
comes in, we'll make sure that Joe gets a copy of this traffic study, so he can look at it, share it with his guys. Teresa? Does Rebecca want to come in now?
Yeah, Joe, I told him to come over.
So we
Come
did- we had
So Joe's
Joe
coming
for
right
it.
over.
Joe probably won't take it, no? Hey, Joe. No, don't sit down, you're wrong.
Don't sit down. All right. Let me just go with that.
Sure.
Okay. I got
some stats. Let's see, for, what the heck you guys doing? For July, calls for service were 353. There were 2 arrests, 39 motor vehicle stops with 9 motor vehicle accidents. So there were quite a few in the month of July. I think that's the most we've had this year in 1 month so far. So just a ton of traffic around, more people around, more collisions. State police in July handled 1 call for service. They had 1 arrest, 11 motor vehicle stops, and 1 motor vehicle accident. So that was a total of 354 calls for service, 3 arrests, 50 motor vehicle stops, and 10 motor vehicle accidents. There's extra copies. August, calls for service were 333 with 9 arrests, 44 motor vehicle stops, and 5 motor vehicle accidents. State police for August handled 6 calls for service, 0 arrests, 3 motor vehicle stops, and 0 motor vehicle accidents that they handled. With a total of 339 calls, 9 arrests, 47 motor vehicle stops, and 5 motor vehicle accidents. September, calls for service were 281 with 2 arrests, 29 motor vehicle stops, 4 accidents. So they were slowly going down as people went away. Calls for service for state police. I do not have their information for the month of September yet. That email is gone unanswered. So we're at 339 for calls, 9 arrests, 47 stops, and 5 motor vehicle accidents. Questions, comments, concerns? Yes.
Joe, do you have any idea what the percentage of out-of-state
I,
vehicles are on these accidents?
no, in order to quantify that, I would have to probably go into dispatch, and that would be a pretty extensive undertaking.
I just want to know if you know off the top of your head.
I don't. No, that's just a total.
Right.
No problem. Linda.
The other towns are, I assume, around us having the same problem.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a universal issue.
Have the towns met to decide if there's anything or
So we,
future plans? Because I don't think it's going to stop.
as far as which
All
part?
this traffic.
All the traffic?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have our chiefs meetings, our monthly meetings and things like that, and there are coordinated efforts through the detail, certain speed details and grants the state puts out, which provide extra funding during the summer months. But we're kind of all responsible just for our own communities in that, and it's just, I think it's just an issue that's just going to keep happening. I mean, every year there's more and more people that are coming up, and you know, I don't really know what the solution is. We go out as much as we can, but unless you could, you know, hire a cop to be put on every single road all the time.
It's a stretch on all resources.
Yes,
so-
it is.
but
Very
they're
much so.
not, they're like not having meetings, different towns, or coming up with any kind of idea.
Probably at the state level, but nothing at the municipal level that I've heard of anyway. But that's a good question.
We did the traffic study.
Yes, yep. Can I get a copy of that?
Yes, we're gonna give you a copy.
Gladly.
Perfect, perfect. That's gonna help us out immensely.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing the speed.
Yeah, Yeah.
You know, Elm Street. you
yeah,
know, 2 vehicles in the 79,
Oh, yeah.
84-mile-an-hour range.
yeah. I don't doubt it for a minute. Don't doubt it for a minute.
It must be airborne most of the time.
I don't know how they can do it on half these roads
I
and
know.
not destroy their vehicles. That's what I don't
Yeah.
get.
Pine
Or
River-
lose control and go into the woods.
Pine River
Those
Road,
are
they're
real
up there, too.
airborne.
Yeah, oh, I believe it. I believe it.
Pine River Road, 69 to 74.
Yeah, that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
I don't think I would do that in the cruiser. Well, definitely not this cruiser, but yeah, no, it's crazy.
Yeah, but it gives you the, you know, the high volume
And
times
the,
and, yeah, the
that's what-
speed.
yeah,
everything else.
that's
A lot
what-
of information in it.
that's what's gonna be real helpful for us,
Yeah.
for the directed patrols.
Yeah, so I agree, can get you a copy.
Thank you, Audrey.
On the mini splits, I only have 1 quote from you and then the quote I received, so I think you guys should analyze them.
Okay. Maybe that was the second one I was thinking.
So,
Go ahead.
I have a question.
Sure.
I've noticed a lot of Carroll County sheriff around in Effingham lately,
Okay,
and the purpose of that is what?
could be a number of things. Could be them covering if we're not on, it could be they have civil paperwork to serve. Calls that come in for them specifically, could be a number of different things.
Okay. And people have mentioned to me that I don't know who it is that's sitting on Route 25
Okay,
out on the highway.
yeah,
And they want to know why are they sitting there and not in.
right. Well, if anybody wants to have
Community.
that discussion, I'd be more than happy to have that with them. We register and log every directed patrol that we do. Every road in this town is patrolled multiple times. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, Route 25 is part of Effingham. It needs to be patrolled. We need to have proactive enforcement out there as well. You saw by the numbers how often state police is in town, and that's not a lot really, for a department that, their main focus is motor vehicle work. Okay, so they're gonna see officers out there. We've all been out there, but they're also in town just as much, if not, well, a lot more. And we have the directed patrols a lot for that.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Question with all these speed issues,
Yes.
because it is concerning,
Sure.
do we need more speed limit signs or warnings or? Because I mean, Green Mountain's a very long road and there aren't very many,
Right.
so, people are driving too fast, they need to know what the speed limit is.
They do. Whenever there's a newly paved road, this is an issue. I've said it many times. I did 21 years in the town of Ossipee. I'll tell you right now, every single time they paved a road, this was an issue. It lasted for a couple months and then it would die down. So what we did, same thing we're doing out here, we just increased enforcement on those roads as much as possible. We're looking into grants for radar trailers, certain different types of signage. Again, just something to keep in mind is those types of things are not a be all end all. Especially people going through that go through all the time, they get used to these things and it's just another piece of the background noise. So having the police out there is the best option for it. As far as speed limit signs go, I know that there was something done with speed limit signs. I think it was before you were in for the second time, but pretty sure Selectman Hart did something with the speed limit signs. And I'm pretty sure a bunch more got put out.
I don't know if they actually got put out.
Oh, they didn't? Okay.
Excuse me, can I have your name, please?
For your profit.
Crockett.
So, to Chief, I don't know that they got put out. We went around as a group, the selectmen, and we took note of all the different signage that should have been or that was lacking.
Okay,
I passed on that report. I filled it out, gave it to Tom Hart. Think that made it here.
Okay.
I may still have a copy, but I think we were deficient in a lot of the speed limits.
well, that would be great then, yeah.
Some were purchased, some of, but not all of the signs we were looking for. So you may have items in the shed that could go out. And I agree, I think. Green Mountain
Fantastic, yeah, that
has
would be
a
great.
shortage.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. If we have them, we should get them out.
Chief,
I don't know who was first. Linda.
Would having solid white lines on Green Mountain Road or no passing, white lines, whatever, do you think that would help?
Yeah, I think anything like that you can do will be a help, definitely. I can't, obviously, that's one of those things I couldn't quantify if there's been accidents caused because of them or without them, but I certainly think that anything like that would help, absolutely.
If there aren't any lines whatsoever
Mhm.
and people are passing,
Yep,
does that give them a free pass?
not exactly, not exactly.
Explain that.
Yes, I will. So normally we can charge an unlawful pass or things like that, when you have the yellow line and you break the yellow line. When there's nothing there, it's kind of like at your own risk type thing. So what we would do then is we would just take them for reckless driving. at that point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a more serious offense. And when it's easier for us if we have like the citizens who can articulate to us either through a video, a picture, or even just a sworn statement to say, hey, this is the vehicle that did this. We can go after them now for reckless driving, which is better than just doing a warrant for speed or something like that, you know? So absolutely, that can absolutely be dealt with. We've done that several times actually in the past. So it's not a free pass.
Thank you.
Chief, I don't know if you're aware of it, the speed limit sign at the beginning of Drake Road is missing,
Okay,
all right?
Yep.
And again, as I've said over the years, you could probably get rid of the yield sign because no one uses it. Everybody just blows through.
Yeah, right.
No matter what, before you get there,
Right.
it's really sucks.
right,
Fine, my friend.
right. No, I got you. Okay. Drake Road. All right.
That's been noticed that a couple of weeks ago that it was gone.
So, I have a question regarding, speed limits in general, right? So, some roads are 30 miles an hour, some are 35. If it's not posted, is it intended that they're 30 or 35?
It's 25. It's not posted.
If it's not posted, right?
Correct.
So, because we're talking about all the speed limits, so when you get onto Townhouse Road from Champion Hillside, 50 yards in, so there's a 35 mile an hour speed limit sign right
Yep.
there. And then right after, it's a kind of a blind corner driveway and all that. Does that warrant 35 or is that 30? What I'm getting at is some roads in town are 30.
Sure.
And a driveway is, they're several hundred yards apart. And then some are 35. And they're driveway, sharp corner, uphill, blind corner. Is there some guideline there that when it's 25, 30, or 35 or?
Goes by the neighborhoods. And, I think these speed studies are gonna be extremely beneficial in that sense because they can provide information that could possibly get a speed limit change in an area where maybe it is posted a little too fast. That would be the ammunition for things like that. Yeah, coupled with, accidents or any hazardous driving reports, things like that, yeah.
And then the other, because we're talking about traffic and whatnot. So at the top, and I think when you have this is about school buses and bus stops, right? So when you have a bus stop at a three-way or four-way intersection, I always felt that was a dangerous place to have one.
Yeah.
Just so again, at the top of Champion, Jones and Townhouse.
Where they all meet right there, yeah.
Right, so like today at 4 o'clock, 10 past 4, I'm waiting for the bus. There's daily three vehicles, one past the stop sign, on Champion Hill, right? So one's past the stop sign, one's in front of the stop sign, and one's in the back of the stop sign. And then sometimes there's also a vehicle on Jones Road itself. May or may not.
Kind of just lined up right there around the corner,
around
yeah.
the corner.
Yeah.
And I've seen them in different places in town where they're actually on the wrong side of the road facing, oncoming traffic, still on the road this time. So, it's nothing new, but I'm concerned for the kids and traffic and public safety, right? Sure. So again, for me to head down Townhouse Road, I have to go past the stop sign, a car length into Jones Road on that corner, if you will.
Yeah.
So I have to get past the first vehicle. I'm already in the oncoming lane to take a left. So that typically, I look at that as being parked in front of the stop sign, where if it wasn't a bus stop, like, isn't it like 25 or 50 feet from the stop sign?
Yeah.
Or a fire hydrant or whatever that.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into all that, but I'm just looking at it from a safety standpoint. Bus stops at 2 or 3-way intersections are, to me.
So how long has that been used as a bus stop? Is that like an accepted
Long-
practice that they've been
long-
doing that for years and years and years?
10 years, longer. So just an observation.
Yeah.
Kids, crossing the street 3-way, we're not stopping, we gotta encroach into traffic. Now the buses is.
I mean-
So we're now, the other oncoming lane.
You clearly have motor vehicle laws being violated, there's no doubt about it. I guess that's where, everybody is the citizens and that want to decide how much of that do you want to put up with and deal with? Because absolutely, you could call us, we could get down there, we could write ticket, we could tow all those cars.
And nobody wants to do anything.
It's
like
been an
that.
accepted practice for years.
Sure.
So is that something you want us, as your local PD to do?
Should the selectmen
know.
approach the school board?
Well, I was gonna go that route. That would be another thing,
I
was to
thought
have a
conversation
meeting.
with Tim or the school board and the
Correct.
town and yourself to get together and say, hey.
Right.
Maybe we don't have them right at this intersection, we have them back somewhat or however. Just-
Technically, yes, there are laws being violated there, technically, but that's, Audrey's right. That would be the
As
best way.
far
to
as
go about it.
safety goes, Joe, and that is the school bus stops, usually on Champion Hill, puts on his flashes. But
Right.
it doesn't.
You can't
doesn't
see
help
on
kids
Jones
running across
Road,
Jones
right,
Road.
correct. So it'd be a good thing to have that meeting, we'll have a meeting about it and see what can be done. No problem. Linda.
That's what I was just gonna ask, is there an alternate, that, you know?
Yeah, that would be it.
deal with it?
That would
Yes.
be it, yeah, that would probably be the gentlest way to handle the situation, I
That would
think,
be good.
so, yeah.
Winter Road, speed limit sign is missing too,
Is it?
and it's 25 on our road,
Okay, so Drake and Winter,
but don't ask the white vans, because they do their own speed.
yeah, well. Yeah. Anybody else? Comments, questions?
Look at the car.
God, should be here anytime.
I know it should be.
Yeah, I know,
When I talked to Sean last week, he said it was delayed. It might be closer to the end of
The
the
middle
month.
of this month, right?
Yeah, middle of the
Okay, all
couple
right.
weeks.
So,
Nobody wants it more than you, right?
I'm telling you right now. Telling you.
So you
Okay, I
can
get from
try
point A
out
to
Pine
point B.
River Road.
Uh-huh.
So you can try out Pine River
I
Road.
try, I let the other guys patrol that. I might not come off it.
You're not getting another car.
Anybody have anything else? No?
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
No? Okay.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. You guys think of any other questions or have any comments, concerns, just reach out to us. Any other speed complaints, again, just remind everybody, we're a 2.5-man department. You are our eyes and ears out there. We can't be everywhere at once. So you see anything, let us know. Okay,
Great to come.
thank you. Have a good day, guys.
Okay, thanks.
You ready for me?
Yeah. Two building permits, huh? One dwelling and one ADU.
Yeah, yep. The others were all small stuff, couple of driveways. Couple of late RVs, they haven't been issued the permits because they were still getting the registration. Yeah, one's a big house with a garage. They actually are planning to have an ADU as well, but they've got the permit to go ahead with the house and garage, and then they'll put the paperwork through the planning board for, it's an interior attached ADU. Otherwise for the barn. Porch. One demolition.
The demolition was the,
No, demolition was over on Partridge Cove Road.
Oh.
This, Randy Nolan, that's finally, I think we're finally done with that until he comes back for a building permit to put up what he wants to put up, but he knows he's
well, I didn't
limited.
know if his permit lapsed.
No, his demo permit was good, so he was fine.
Yeah, finally get that done.
Yeah, that's good. Looked like there were sufficient barriers protecting the river.
And, Cedars got their permit, so.
Yep, that went through historic district and everything was straightforward there.
And the Bailey Road, giving that time.
Oh, yeah, sometimes people, that's the one that Audrey was dealing with a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're not on here, I don't think, or they know. I just sent her out an application form and I checked the file at the state and she had a whole brand new septic system, septic design. She only bought, I think, in May, she has got the design and the approval and installation all done. So that'll, grease the skids for getting the permitting process through. Oh, yeah, she's okay.
And we agreed, we signed the one for Libby Road, Class 6 Road.
Oh, you signed that?
Yeah.
Oh, good, he'll be pleased.
Yeah.
Took us a while to get that all straightened out,
Yeah.
but he was great about it, so. Audrey takes that, you keep a copy, and then I take the original, get it back to him so he can record it.
Yeah.
At the registry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we'll get
Yeah.
back a
Same.
copy of the recorded one.
And the town is not responsible for the road.
No, not responsible.
I know, but it's in there.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. And we get you.
Yeah, I'm
punch
afraid
list
it's a little wordy, but it
But it's all
wasn't
right.
as simple, you want me to try and bullet point it, or you've gone through it, and,
here. Yeah, I'd rather. I
um,
mean, it
if you have any
was
questions
just brought up.
about it, maybe it's a little wordy because it seemed like lots of stuff swirled around for a while.
Yeah.
So it seemed like if I could just put down a little bit of the chronology of it, then maybe we'd stop hearing people asking me why I wasn't finding people or
I
whatever.
think Tim on that, be happy with it. So.
Right, and so, pretty straightforward. I did read up on the remediation stuff a little bit. So, but it's not our responsibility, it's up to the state.
Okay.
It was also on the agenda to go over her budget, but you also are running behind and have
Yeah.
other people here, so I don't know if you wanna come back in a half hour with your budget, or
Whatever would
What do you
work
wanna
for you
do, Lenny?
folks. I mean, I'm,
5 o'clock is conversation, conservation. Would you mind coming back,
no, I don't mind. I
Oh, okay.
do wanna,
Steve?
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Yeah.
Rebecca, the lot that's across the street on Green Mountain Road from Canad's farm, is that zoned for business? The one with all the boats? Is that a
Oh.
business?
no, that's private property, and my understanding, I've been in conversation with him for quite a few years, is that those boats belong to him and his friends.
He personally owns all those boats?
I don't know, I wasn't gonna get into it.
You think maybe you should
I-
find out, because that to me seems like it's a business. And it should go along with zoning practices, where if it's zoned for business, you should be taxed as a business. And if not, the boat should be out of there, because you can, I don't know anybody in the world that personally owns for their own use 8 pontoon boats.
Yeah, well, he owns a marina, but anyway, be that as it may, we're trying to solve that problem in conjunction with the piece of property we bought on 153 for the purpose of storing boats. That has been, he's been trying to get that through the planning board for site plan approval, and then that would give him
Seems
a
like he
different
can do whatever he wants.
May I'd like to contribute to this conversation. The two properties are separate issues. You may be trying to connect them, but they really are separate issues. He's been illegally storing boats on the Green Mountain Road property for years. He just illegally logged off and totally cleared and leveled that area on 153 and was illegally storing boats there.
I beg
The
your
Green-
pardon.
the planning board has been trying to get him to come in and deal with this issue for quite some time now, and he is not. And We asked, as a matter of fact, the planning board asked unanimously of the BOS if they would put a cease and desist order out on that, on both properties, in order to stop them from putting more boats in before they come out and try to deal with this, if they really in fact have any inkling to do so.
Well, I certainly will readdress the Green Mountain Road property,
The Green Mountain Road property, you should be able to, in your job,
Excuse me, I could finish my sentence. I will try and pursue more information on the Green Mountain Road property. I do know that he has pulled back from the road, the storage of the boats and not done as many of them. He has been storing the boats there for something like 15 years. And so you've got to
Not in
understand.
not in those limits, no, not in those amounts.
no.
And he doesn't get grandfathered just because he's disobeying the laws.
It's been done illegally. You should, in your capacity, be
I
able to go
would,
on the property. Excuse me, I just finished my sentence.
No, this is reputation at this point.
If you should be able to go on the site, take down the hull numbers and compare them to registrations in town.
Well, when I come back to do my budget, we can talk about putting extra money in the budget for the enforcement.
Okay, now we're
public
talking
Stop
about a
that.
different subject
Crap.
altogether.
All right,
Let's get it
all
under
right,
control, please.
all right.
I've done the best I can, and I'll tell you, there's
I
been
don't
no
think so.
violation on 153 at all. The man is within his rights to clear the property as much as he wants. He's not using it for non-residential purposes at this time. It's a vacant lot that's been cleared. He has one boat trailer on it. So there is no
Let's
violation
really
there.
look at the facts of the matter, okay? He may have cleared that thing
All right,
legally.
all right.
Go
He
through
may
you,
have,
everyone
No,
is.
he may have,
we get
he
people waiting to
stored
go over
boats
their
there
budget.
illegally for a year. And then moved them out when it was convenient for him last spring.
David.
Dave, we're done.
We're done.
Thank you.
We got people waiting to go over their budget. Please be respectful to them.
Just
Thank you.
call me back when
Okay.
you want me.
Thank you.
I'll slip out the back, Jack.
Emlyn,
Yes,
you're up.
conservation.
Rep.
You come up to the table just so I can hear you.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the answer. Give me more money. Maybe they'll do something.
Where do you need all this money?
We spent it very good ways. But may I ask a question?
Yeah.
Before we get going, on the Larry Levitt Preserve, has there been any thought about cleaning that up?
Yep, we're gonna get to it.
Well, I just wanted to add, Harry Libby mentioned, he's not only a member of ACC, but he's a walker, that we should be doing this in the middle of winter. Simply because there's a need for heavy equipment to go in there.
Yeah.
And, everyone knows that, the soil, the ground will, have the least amount of impact if we do it, in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
But, so there is a
Does
plan.
Harry wanna do it?
No,
No, okay.
he doesn't.
He's gonna skid up.
I think more than just a skid is needed.
Okay, yeah, no, it's on the list of stuff to do. Yeah, it's not only Larry Levitt, and we still got the fire station, the streets down there and stuff.
So, if you could talk to whoever's gonna be doing this and try to schedule it,
Yeah.
the winter, that would be the best idea.
Yeah, it'll be the road crew that does it. Yeah.
Okay, good, thanks.
We're trying to hold off to see how the budget's
Well,
going.
but it is a hazard right now.
Not too much went up other than land improvements.
Yes,
What do you plan on improving?
the Pine River Cherubini property. We had one trail done this spring, but there's still a second trail to be done.
And the water testing, is that just going up or?
We have always, well, you know, I just got a breakdown from Green Mountain about how much it costs
Yeah.
just for water testing. Though they do add in volunteer time, but that's allowed, I understand. But the total for water testing just for Effingham is $7,421, which we never will pay the whole thing.
Right.
But, you know, in good faith, I guess that's why we've always added $50 to the total for water testing per year.
Okay.
The only two things that went up was water testing and land
Yeah.
improvement, but yeah.
Yeah.
That was $550 or so.
Yeah. I don't see any big concern with it. Do you?
No, I don't.
That's good.
Make a motion to approve Conservation Commission budget for 2023 for $4,355.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, before you move off this subject, I'd just like to say something if I'd be allowed.
Yeah.
One of the things I've been advocating for the last couple of years, this is due in part because we're seeing this activity where land use tax, there's a percentage that we give or an amount up to that goes to the Conservation Commission when land is taken out of current use. Now, for many years, that was really very minimal would that activity take place. But along with the traffic and everything else, the move up here into our town is propagating a lot of that tax money now because land use, it's being taken out of current use. And the meager amount that these folks have in their bank account to purchase sensitive land areas could be bolstered by a warrant article this year. And I would be hoping that you folks would put forward a warrant article to capture some of that money. I believe last year land use change topped over $20,000. Simply saying that if we hit $10,000 a year, perhaps should go into the conservation fund. That money will stay in a bank account until it needs to be purchased. If the Conservation Commission was ever dissolved or something, that money would come back to the town. At some point in the future, if the Conservation Commission seems like they're richer than the rest of us, you could, pull it back. But I'd just like you to consider putting a warrant article forward to bolster.
Something we can definitely look into.
Okay. And
Because we've talked about it at the conservation, and we're still, we've decided to go back and look at the figures of how much conservation has gotten since, I believe, that warrant was passed in 2010. The conservation would get a certain amount of money off the current use, but with a cap of $2,000. And the preliminary figures just do not add up. I mean, years when the town doesn't collect any current use change tax, that's one thing. But even in the years when they did, we didn't get anywhere near what I think we were supposed to.
Check into that too.
Yeah.
And again, I just want to point out your bank account for this is probably still well under $20,000 at this point. And buying a piece of property.
Or the savings. Yeah.
Right. It's it's all changed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, another one that falls under the conservation is other, the Lake Coast program.
Yes.
The $3,000. That's level funded, so I make a motion to approve that.
Well, we just found out that there may be no oil in Levitt Brook, which runs through Camp Marist.
Yeah.
And I went down to Camp Marist today just to seek permission, to go look at Levitt Brook. And I talked to a maintenance person who got in touch with his boss, and the boss said, okay, so I'm going back tomorrow to take a look.
Yeah.
And that may, because the last so many years, all we've had to spend is survey money on the milfoil, just to make sure that there isn't any outbreak of it on the Effingham part of the lake and the river. But this might be something that might not be It could be, just hand pulling, you know.
That would be nice.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I think, sorry, I think you may have two things confused here. There's the invasive species, which we generally fund through a warrant article. The Lake Coast program is being run at Province Lake.
Right.
So that's not
That's
really
clarification.
Emily, yeah, so two different ones.
Yes, no, I jumped in with the mo.
Right.
You said Lake Coast.
Yeah. I should have said probably it's PLA, Lake Coast Program.
Correct.
I made a motion to approve the 3,000.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right,
So,
I'll get you up.
thank you.
Historic district. I thought you had us really organized. You didn't put these in order the way we did.
I put them in account order, not presentation
Oh.
order, so it's. the
Thank
fir-
you, Audrey.
It's the first one.
No differences here, huh?
All the same as last year.
It's a lot of money.
$485.
Yeah.
I think we actually made the town money this year. Because we had two applications for approvals that are $30 fee with each application. So I think we took in more money than we spent.
That's good. I wish we could all do that.
Hmm.
But I have an association membership I want to give you, so maybe it'll break out even, I don't know. We are looking to, we're beginning at our next meeting a review of the regulations. So any amendments that we make to those will have to have public hearings and have notice. That might cost a little bit of money, but we don't spend a lot of money.
Well, that's good.
You know, so what if there's nothing for travel, do you don't do classes
That's
or?
in there, I mean, under workshops and seminars, the State Division of Historical Resources usually has a conference that we could go to. And I think with the pandemic, they put that off for a couple of years. So there is money in for a workshop, but if we have to go to it, travel to it, then we don't have a line for that, but.
Most of these are online.
Oh, I was gonna say, is it
A lot of them-
online?
A
that
lot of
you-
them are online.
Okay, alright. Looks good to me.
Okay, we'll make a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the Historic District Commission budget worksheet for $485.
Second.
All right, so approve the Historic District Commission for $485.
Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Great.
Thank you. ZBA.
Now we're getting into the big money.
Yes, we are. Shame on you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Office equipment and supplies is a big one.
Do you have my notes here, reason for variance?
Yep.
Okay. The only reason I added $100 in there was, Now we have Nicole doing minutes for us. I've been using my personal tape recorder for recording minutes or recording meetings. And I think that we'd like to provide her with one that she can use exclusively. So I'm figuring around $100.
I've never bought one, so I don't really know what they cost.
Yeah, in that neighborhood, you know, if you want to get one that will adequately record the room.
And you went up in advertising?
We did, and I may have to ask Audrey how these accounts are allocated. I'm assuming advertising encompasses postings, public notices and so on in the paper, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. One of the things with ZBA budgeting, which I've encountered in other years, is that it's very speculative based on activity. You know, if you have no cases, you don't have very many expenses, you know, except for some workshop programs, stuff like that, even that's small money. But we get one big one, like the one you may have heard of, the gas station. And suddenly there's all kinds of associated costs that blow you out of the water. So, looking at advertising, assuming a normal year, I'm expecting there's going to be inflationary pressures on costs of posting for meetings, that sort of thing. And I use the same logic in terms of postage. Postage is going up all the time, and particularly the current 8+% annual inflation rate that we're dealing with. You know, we're gonna see everything go up. So I pulled that number a little bit out of the air again because we don't know what our activity level is going to be.
And your professional services.
Which I'm going to assume is largely our attorney fees.
No,
No,
no, it's a consultant. Attorney's fees are. Pardon
Through legal. That comes in the legal.
maybe you can help me out with which consultants are we talking
me.
about?
It would be if you needed someone to review something for you, a third party, either an engineer or. I'm not
Some kind
thinking
of
of,
expert.
but the legal, any legal fees that the ZBA would need would come out of the town's legal line item.
Okay. Well, thank you for that clarification. But when I was looking at this and looking that we had budgeted $1,000 for 22, and that in 21 we had actually spent $3,600, considerably higher than what we put in for this year. I kind of felt it was prudent to pad that a little bit based on actuals of the previous year. So, as I say in my reason, it appears the budget's too low based on previous year.
And like you say, I mean, that's a shot in the dark, 'cause you never know.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure that the 3,600 was a legal cost.
It was.
And so it shouldn't be thought of as the same as somebody else that you would contract with for a particular consult. So I think it was confusing that was either a year ago or more, and I think it's being tracked well now.
Okay.
So I just want to jump in a little here on the history of this. It was really through our town's attorney and a training I went through some years ago that they established a professional service line for the planning board and the ZBA. And that would actually encompass legal fees as well. It gives you a something on your budget sheet to allocate money for professional services, whether that's legal, and it shows up on the town's legal line or not. But it would go to the individual boards as well as for the third party reviews, like Teresa's saying. That's one of the things you'll find in land use is somebody comes in and says, I've got a professional that says whatever this guy wants, I got a report that says it shouldn't happen. And then the ZBA, the other person might have a thing that says it should happen. The ZBA then can't dispute on layman's terms any of these professionally certified individuals, in which case we would have to get a third party review, and it's just a line that allows you for whatever needs.
Yeah,
I'd like to ask first, Jim, did you check for the recorders in the back? Because when I was chair, there was 2 extra recorders in the back in the file cabinet. For the
I know
ZBA.
nothing about those.
There's 2 in the back.
Okay.
In the pouch.
Are those the mini digital, or because I know we kept a couple, I was out there, we kept a couple of these items for the tapes because there's mini cassette tapes and cassette tapes, which we used to use. Those tapes even still work, try to find, you know, the old text that we kept.
Yeah, I know the old ones had issues compared to current technology. Oh, yeah, where'd you get that?
The pouch.
Pouch, that pouch.
I remember when I
That
said.
Is this the pouch?
No, there's another pouch too in the back.
Okay.
In the back with 2
Okay.
under the
I,
ZBA.
Do you know if they even work?
I don't, I haven't used that one, I used the other one, so I have a different pouch.
They did work when I was there.
If this, you're welcome to see if that all works.
You may just wanna check it again
I think the
before you
batteries are
purchase
probably
one.
dead.
Probably.
The second thing, Lenny, is,
Looks like you can take
Current
$100
budget
off the budget.
Well,
current budget
not
actual
until
doesn't
you,
show anything spent under professional services. So I don't know the justification for bringing it up. Those are just a couple of concerns I have.
okay.
Jim came to me with that.
Wrong batteries. All right, well, I guess I don't know whether this works or not, but, but if it does, it probably will be fine. So,
Not right now, Teresa.
so, I'd be fine if you want to whack $100 off the budget there.
Okay,
Based
did
only
you hear
on this.
Dave's comment about the professional services? There's nothing that's been expended this year.
Oh, okay,
I was just suggesting, Jim, that we keep it at the same standard of 1,000, what we agreed on last budget season.
sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, it's a shot in the dark, but we have no reason to believe it's gonna be over that if we're not even having any charges to date.
I'm not married to these numbers. So I'm fine with that if you want to take $500 or $600 off the bottom line on this.
Okay, so back to 1,000 on professional services.
look what was spent on in 2021.
Yeah, but that was legal.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, now Audrey breaks it all out under the main legal line as to who's using what, so. So we wanna take the whole 100 out of the office equipment or?
Sure.
leave-
Yeah.
Okay. So that would bring it down.
So why can't-
3311.
Yes.
Why can't we be? Why can't we leave it $1, like the mileage one, $1. Huh?
No, you can't.
I mean, so it doesn't get rid of the whole line, you know what I mean?
You wanna leave it at $1 or no?
The office equipment, we
Is it-
agreed that it's all gonna come from the office, this would only be something like if Jim wanted. So
Yeah, like
I'm gonna be
report.
recommending that we delete the dollars in the budget committee because everything should be in the office, we've already agreed it's in that budget. We've done that a few years ago. It got left as $1 till we just see if things carry on, like Zoom for the planning board is put under this.
Yeah.
So if Jim was buying a recorder, I could see us putting something in that line item, but 0 is definitely something that I think would be appropriate. Because all office equipment is gonna be planned on that executive.
Yeah, by the same token, we have $1 in the mileage account as well, so if you'll
Zero that out.
blitz that out of there.
No, you wanna leave the $1 for the mileage account, Jim.
Wait a minute, what?
I wanna leave that open for you, because in case you do go to a seminar or something, you have that open, that account.
Yeah.
All right, I'd like to put $100 in there.
Whatever you feel comfortable with.
No, the dollar sign, okay. Glad we understand the fine distinctions between the placeholders.
Spending this much time for a dollar. Right, so what are we doing?
So we're down, that brings it down to 3311. Good with that?
I am just fantastic with that.
Okay,
And we hope we won't spend even that.
appreciate it if you don't. I'll make a motion to approve the zone board's budget of $3,311.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
And thank you for making this a fun experience.
Have fun playing around with the reporter.
Yeah, hopefully this new batteries will do it. Thank you.
You get Katie to sing.
I'll pass that on.
Okay. Teresa. Because he wrote changes on one,
Oh, okay,
reasons on one.
okay, all right. Right in the front or the back? Can't find it.
The first one.
It was right after Jim's. I'm sorry, right before Jim's.
I got the historic district.
2 pages, 1, 2.
A, B, C.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that would have been easier, wouldn't it? Okay. Ah. Recording fees went way down.
They went way down.
You got 50, you had 240 last year.
Yeah, I remember we had a lot of mergers last year. It's, recording fees are with the registry of deeds. I'm guessing that's why it was that much. No, that says 240 for 2020. No, that was our budget for
That was for
240. I'm
yeah.
not sure why our budget was 240. What I don't have, sorry, I was in a rush doing this, so I will say that I didn't look at past budgets. I just had the actual for 21 and the budget for 2022. So I don't know what the 2021 budget. I didn't bring that with me.
You haven't spent anything to date, Teresa, on recording fees. So you're probably in the ballpark of what you were for 2021.
Okay, and for 2021, it was $54, and that's, I guess with everything that I did in the budget, I tried to use actual expenditures to increase where it looked like it needed to be, but not where it looked like it didn't need to be. So that might be confusing, but if you wanted to, so the 400 for advertising, same as with Jim, you never know. If we don't have cases, we don't advertise. If we have a lot of cases, we advertise a lot. The 260 from the budget obviously wasn't near enough for the 21 expenses. I don't know what our current, so yeah, I guess I got the 21 expenses, but I don't know what the 22 expenses are.
515 right now, Teresa.
515, okay, so. Well, I was thinking 400 would be a bump up from the 260 since the actual was larger, but if it's already 500 this year, It could be more, the advertising is required, it's a statutory requirement, with any case that any application that we process, so it's spending we have to make when it's called for.
So
So,
it's a shot in the dark, it's not the ZBA, you never know how many cases you're gonna have.
exactly. So yeah, so I guess you're looking at, you have actuals there for 2022. So I don't for any, so you can inform whether what I proposed, just using 2 years ago actual and the budget, whether I was going in the right direction or not.
Yeah, and everything like you say is based on, you had a lot of cases this year. It's speculative what you're gonna have next year, so
Right,
it's your best judgment of what you know is coming up.
yeah.
And it's always hard to hit that mark. It's understandable, even every budget committee that you've ever came into with us.
Yeah.
It's always hard, you're trying to get the right number.
Yeah, so I tried to move the numbers around, the total isn't, is pretty much what it was last time. But that's, close to what it was in 21 too. I just tried to move the dollars around to what might be more needed, like for instance, less mileage, because more of the trainings are online now. Someone just mentioned Zoom though, and we're not gonna keep using Zoom, so that, I don't know if the town has already discussed whether they wanna keep using that or not, I know originally we signed up for it, and so it's an expense that maybe went on ours. It's just $15 a month, it's not like it's a big expense, and I suppose anytime that it was needed, you could just sign up and do it, but we don't do it well. And there's hundreds of people to tell us that. So, so I don't know where, I just heard that mentioned, I'm not sure what category that's in,
Computer
but
services, where it got charged, Teresa.
where was it?
Computer services, $120.
Oh, okay, yeah, so I didn't,
And if you're not gonna use it this year, it ought to go under executive, I would imagine. Right, Audrey, you agree?
Yeah, we're gonna have that work session next week.
So,
okay. I did distribute this to the board and ask for feedback, and I just had one, kind of boring to look at, but I did have someone say that it looked good, they didn't have any other suggestions.
You think $1,000 for professional services? It's a shot in the dark also, but I think that's reasonable, or,
Yeah, I think that was a good placeholder
okay.
for that eventuality. We have definitely used it more on the planning board, I think, than the zoning board has needed. I think I would double it this year. We're double that so far this year. For planning. Do you have what our cost? Well, no.
3188.
3188 for professional services?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously you've had a lot.
But is that legal services? Yeah.
No, that's professional services.
I'd have to look at the detail of the line item.
Oh, you're talking legal?
No, I'm talking non-legal, so we are engaged with an engineering firm.
Well, then scientists and everything, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I think it's supposed to be for, and that, yeah, we have needed to, so yeah, so. You wanna put it to 3,000? Cause we might have that cost again, I don't know, we might not.
Probably going to 2 is not unreasonable, Teresa.
Yeah, I would say 2. That's what I was gonna say.
The way you find a happy medium, I mean, I don't think anybody in the budget committee is gonna disagree with that when they see the returns and knowing what the planning board has.
I mean, the thing is, what's tricky with all of this is that those contracted services for any particular case are charged to the applicant. So the town doesn't ultimately pay, but it does pay up front. Those bills that come in, Audrey's paying those bills. We're gonna get that money back from the client if they want.
But
Whatever
that'll
case
that'll
it
go
is.
to the general fund. That money will go to the general fund, so
Yeah,
we do need.
Yeah,
the
it'll
budget
come
for
back
it.
around again.
Yep.
Meaning that there's, you know, if you feel like it's hard to double a line item, it's a line item that cost is paid for by the applicant.
Do we want to keep it as it is or what's going? Are you gonna go up on it?
Well, I don't see the gas station case get resolved anytime soon, so. We're gonna have professional services for a while, I think.
Possibly.
So anyway, one thing to keep a thought on is when you have all these departments and everybody tries to reduce their budget because everybody wants lower taxes. Whenever they overspend, if these departments go over, that comes out of your budget. So that you'll have less money to do what you budget for yourselves. You'll have to cover those guys. You can't go back to the general fund and take money.
So I agree with Dave, I know the 2,000 on professional services.
Okay,
What do you think of that?
I mean, if it doesn't get spent, it doesn't get spent. If it does get spent, it's reimbursed. It just doesn't come back, it comes back as a general fund contribution. So at least in this line item, it's not costs that the planning board is spending on its own. It's costs that the applicant is responsible for.
I'd love to keep it the same.
So it's the same right now, so it's 1,000 now, and it's 3,300,
31.
3,100, and it, as Lenny says, it's gonna keep going. So I don't know that there will be any other cost in 2022. But yeah, I guess it's probably likely that case is gonna go into 2023, and so there's $2,000 that you've spent or will have spent, you have spent if you pay the bill. That 2,000 of which, because only 1,000's in there, 2,000 of which you have to find somewhere else to move things around. So that's, I think, the point Mike was trying to make, that maybe 2,000 is not big enough to make you worry at all about it, but it does mean that it's your money that has to get moved around instead of this budget.
So again, the point is to not end up with a shortfall at the budget, at the BOS level, because you guys get in trouble with DRA if you overspend.
Right.
The other thing is, if you had this a little bit, if you're thinking of it in those terms, which I'm not, you end up with money that it's not spent at the end of the year. That money lapses from your operating budget. So if you had $90,000 that lapsed, the practice that when I came on in 2018 with you, we started doing a little bit, and we carried on after that, is to start taking those lapsing funds and apply those to a lot of our smaller warrant articles. So you're not raising taxes at town meeting, you're just shifting tax money that's already been paid to the town, and you continue funding stuff. So it's, nobody's getting hurt, by putting that money in there. It's been a pretty stable way to keep town meeting funded for all those right reasons.
So yeah, I'd like to see it go 2,000, because I know
Okay.
that's gonna be spent for sure. And then probably even more.
That's under professional, right?
Yeah. And advertising, we're leaving at 400, correct?
Yep.
So nothing else is changing but professional.
I went up on postage, it was 300 was the budget, 819 was the 21 expense, what's the 22 expense?
638,
638,
so you're in the ballpark on
I
that.
proposed 600,
No, I meant changing,
oh,
not,
changing
not
from
on,
what's.
yeah,
okay.
than what's here, yeah.
I dropped the mileage down, like I said, because of,
So it would be the 69.48, right?
Yeah, 69.48.
Dave, did you wanna get rid of the $1 in office supplies?
Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna have it there, she's not gonna have anything there, because it's gonna go to executive.
Okay, so we'll zero that out.
On what again?
Office
The office
equipment.
equipment,
Supplies.
okay, so it's 0. And this is gonna be 2. Okay,
but do I keep the dollar for mileage and the dollar for computer services? Okay, so it's 69.47?
yeah,
Good with that? I'll make a motion to approve plan board budget of 69.47.
I'll second it,
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
aye,
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Conservation is not here, right?
Yeah.
I'll go conservation, did we do that one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Did Jeff say anything about his?
He wasn't able to attend tonight and he submitted his flat the way I presented it.
Okay, so he's good with this.
Yes,
Okay. Make a motion to approve the town forest budget of $1,000.
I'll second it,
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
aye,
Aye. Okay, this was back to Rebecca now.
Honey, can I give you something from the
Yeah.
health? This is just a reimbursement I'm looking for a training I scheduled and discussed the other week. I wanted to hand that in. And I didn't get any budget requests for the health officer, which I'm thinking probably should take place because of travel, trainings, and some equipment issues.
I don't have them all out yet, Mike.
Oh, is that what
Yeah,
it
it's
is?
on me.
Okay. Well, I'm figuring it's new, so it may
No.
not have come up.
No, I just don't have them all.
Right.
Doing them in order.
What he's saying, so
Have them.
Okay, Rebecca, is that?
Back.
Yeah. Not too much has changed,
No, a couple things have gone down a little bit.
which is always good.
Yeah, tried to balance off the needs with some productions.
Got $1 in here for supplies,
I think that was supposed to be taken out and
yeah, take that out.
missed the cut. One of those things where you think you've done it. Or you did it in an earlier version and then hopped back in.
Hmm.
And your salary, went, you do that 3%,
The 3% increase, and it's an increase in hours.
or an increase in hours.
Yeah, we went back and looked at the hours that I've done up till now, and then previously we thought we could do it in average of 10 hours a week across 52 weeks, and it's not happening, yeah, or, I think, I mean, I'll be cutting back to keep in line with this year's budget for the rest of the year. But the hours were up. There were never any slow periods.
No, it's been quite a year.
Yeah.
That it has.
I have a question, so if you're increasing your hours, you're gonna be able to cover some of the open issues that people are asking about. That's like the trailers and stuff,
Yeah,
the boats and stuff.
You can answer that.
And remodel.
It depends on what comes in across my desk.
Okay, so that's one that we definitely are interested in to be worked with, but if you're gonna increase your hours, that's good, because that's what you said, you needed more hours. So hopefully we'll get that.
So put in more hours, do more work. Do more enforcement.
Yeah, because I mean, that's the concern, so that would be very helpful. I don't think it would take that long to do that, but certainly, that's good that you're adding hours to be able to do that.
You see anything that, question?
I'm still figuring.
Still figuring?
Doing marginal math there.
In your workshops, most of them are virtual. Right?
Yeah, I brought it down to a previous year. When I first took the job, I was taking a lot of them. Now they're virtual, and also a lot of them are repeats of trainings that I've already taken. So I want to keep something in there, obviously, if something shows up that's it's not virtual and or free, and it applies specifically to something that we're concerned about. The couple of the years that were very helpful.
Done figuring? Good.
What'd you get for figure, you know?
Well, it'll be $1 less. It'll be 21.72.
That's 71, right?
No, it was 73.
But you took it.
We took $1 away. Figure
Oh,
it.
okay, yeah.
Back to
Sorry. Make a motion to accept the zoning officer's 2023 budget request, $28,172.
I'll second
Um, Those that say aye,
it. Aye.
okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Jennifer.
thank you.
Any other questions that you have for me at this time?
No,
Not for me.
Okay,
thanks for all you do.
you're very welcome. My pleasure.
All that.
Not scanned.
Okay.
the D when we're doing, right?
A couple of announcements to make. Reminder, Monday's a holiday, so the office will be closed. And Audrey celebrates a long weekend.
Again,
And also October 15th, remember the street dance, the friends of the library, and there's food trucks and have hoot man and whatever. Okay, this time open it up to public comment. Okay.
I have several, actually, a couple of questions about, we just start with MS1. When will we be informed of our individual increases in value, as you put it?
In the December tax.
Okay, so that's where we'll hear about it. Okay. That will be available on tax cards or going on the web to,
I don't know how soon it will get there.
okay. Angelini Pit, I was under the impression that they had already given us a $30,000 bond to develop 5 acres. Is that correct?
No, we asked for $30,000 up front. We didn't want a bond, we wanted the cash.
In the
And
bank, which is better.
which the treasurer would establish a separate account.
Okay, that has not been received.
No, we received the bond, and so Audrey's on that, trying to get ahold of Jim Lyons to
Okay. Okay,
take
thank
care of
you.
that.
Zoning enforcement, there were 2 RV permits given out again this last month. Neither of those were sent to the health office for us to look into their septic problems or issues. This is something we've been going over for months and months now. You guys keep telling us that you're gonna have her do that, and nothing's happening. So what's the next step?
Well, I don't know where these RVs are. They could be in a park
No,
where they have, well,
one's on Bailey Road and one's on Wilkinson Swamp.
I don't know. You have to ask Rebecca.
Well, she was ushered out of here pretty quickly, and then brought in on a
we
different
can-
subject, so just,
I'll ask her. If what they're doing with this up there.
what
again,
Bailey
there's
Road,
supposed to
where?
be a formal
Bailey?
way of
Bailey
doing
Road.
things, right?
And where?
That
Wilkinson
we
Swamp.
all agreed on, and it's not being followed, and it's been repeatedly questioned here. It's really about time something happened around here, you know, I mean, that's common. The other thing I had about that one issue is, these are 150-day permits. Are these people gonna be here in the winter? They're not supposed to be, but we don't know, right? We don't know, they just got given a 150-day permit.
Can we pull up the permit online? We should be able to pull up the permit, right, to see the public permit.
Good, yeah.
Okay.
I know the one on Bailey Road, they're not even living in that yet. And that's gonna have its own septic. I know that.
Yeah, regardless if people are living in it or not, they're not supposed to live in it, period, that's state law.
Well, they're building it, so.
So, and they're not supposed to have it and live in it when they're building until the septic system's in and they are providing a septic for that RV. But our laws and the state laws don't go away just because they're building the house.
Well,
So if that's the case, if there's no septic, they're building a house, they should not have been given an RV permit until the septic system went in. And this could have been stopped if Rebecca had just done her job and contacted the health office first before issuing the RV.
She needs more.
permit. Right, that's, I mean, I keep bringing this up every 2 weeks because it happens every 2 weeks, it seems, another issue comes up.
Who has
I-
oversight over Rebecca?
We do.
You do. So knowing this, are you guys able to put a different review on RV permits? It sounds like you're just not going the right direction.
I mean, if I can jump in as the health officer on this subject, what we're looking for is to have, just like on a building permit for anything that would have, a usage or occupancy, temporary or otherwise. We have on the building permits now, a section where there's a septic approval number in that. And that's basically what should be happening with these RV permits. We need to have them have a septic system, but they also need to be tied in. It's another thing, put an RV on your property, but the property has a septic. So this is something I'm gonna bring back around to talk with Rebecca about. So I'm going to try once again to kind of put this together to her, and I will probably be asking to meet with the board and Rebecca and Dave here and see if we can't just kind of get to a consensus point on this. So if that helps everybody in the
Yeah.
room, I look forward to scheduling something in the
So-
next month or so.
So I have a question. Is the permit you're talking about,
There are 2,
was it given on September 1st?
I don't know, I don't have the information in front of me. There were 2 issued last month,
You said Bailey
according to
Road.
Rebecca's report.
I'm
Neither
sorry,
of those,
Bailey and Wilkinson?
Wilkinson Swamp,
You
and
guys-
neither of those were ever reported to the health office for our signature.
Okay, well,
Was it
it- it-
the one that just came out from the planning board zoning officer came in the email the other day, was that September?
I'm just looking for it now.
I'm thinking one of them was just given not that long ago, like a couple of days ago. So I don't know how long it takes for her to,
Well, we got the report when, what was the date?
That's what Elaine's looking up.
Thursday, we got the report. Right? Is that the date?
which would have been what date?
29th.
Okay, so today's only the 4th, but I don't know.
Let's look at that. Oh, that was from July, one day.
I'm just saying, if one of them was, the permit was given around September 1st, yes, you probably should have been notified. The other one was just a few days ago, so I don't know how long it takes her to give
But
the
if
permit
it's-
and then notify or.
Before the permits are issued, we're supposed to, before any permits are issued, we have septic tie-in. We're supposed to sign off on that from.
Before,
Before a permit is
oh,
issued.
okay, I thought she gave the permit and then
No.
notified you.
And that, see, this is what I was trying to talk to folks about again, but I don't want to belabor this time in front of
Yeah.
everybody now. I'd rather schedule a meeting so people who have an interest might want to revisit this, could be in the room if it's a concern. But I'll look forward to scheduling something and we can have Rebecca there as well. And the public can come, because obviously there's an interest.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm on the historic board, no permits are issued until it's approved, right, by the historic board.
Right.
So it's the same thing, you can't issue it unless it goes through and it gets approved by the health department, so there's something missing there, I mean, I think the different commissions
But
are
what I'm
choosing.
reading, but what I'm reading here, I'm not sure it's even the ones that you're pertaining to.
If
so.
an RV goes into a campground,
Mm.
there's no reason, they already have a septic they tie into, so I mean,
Right,
she
yeah,
can
that's
just issue a
But
permit.
these people
Right.
need to get notified of those.
It still has
But
to come
those,
to
those,
us.
those, campgrounds, those are applying to state laws and regulations and their oversight.
No, I mean, this was just, to say that some of them don't need
Correct, okay, I see what you're saying.
septic.
Yeah.
Just to answer the question, the first one was, if the one on Bailey Road was issued on September 1st, and the one on Wilkinson Swamp Road was issued on 9/27.
Right,
And those are.
Okay, so those are the two you're talking
And
about.
they're both listed as 150-day RV permits.
And neither should have been given out without a signature from health office.
That's 5 months, we mean they're in January.
But I thought they couldn't have anything there past November.
That's correct.
That's
Right,
also,
according to the
that's
planning
why I
board,
brought up
we
the 150-day permit when we don't even allow
So we
them.
all heard Mike, so.
Okay, let's move on then.
Yeah.
Well, I also
Next
wanna
one.
clarify what Ms. Ford said is that she was bringing them into compliance because they didn't have permits, so they're not gonna be there past the end of October. So, in her report,
I
that's
don't
it.
know how you can bring someone into compliance if the permit is not being issued in compliance.
The date, for the date, the dates are in compliance.
The issue's bigger than that.
I'll
It's a
move
nut.
on, if you don't mind. Boat storage, I'd really like to hear from you guys that you're gonna require Rebecca to go on site, get the hull numbers, do the homework. Don't take this guy's word for it. He's been stalling for a year and a half now or more. There's another one, you know, that has not wanted to work with planning. He's not wanted to work with the town. He's doing what's best for him, and he has no concern about anybody else, neighbors, anything. Let's get this to the planning board and let's get this stopped. That's that one.
Jay, do you mind if I jump in? just a
Yeah,
sec?
jump in, Mike.
I think maybe this would be a way to settle things for people, just
Yeah,
at a land.
Can I just say this? Next time, would you ask Lenny, since
Sure.
he's the chair, instead of asking another person?
Sure thing, Vicky.
Thank you.
Lenny, would you mind?
We'll
Thank
just, we'll just save all this for when we have a meeting with Rebecca. I mean, I can't answer for Rebecca right now, because I don't know where she stands on certain things.
Well,
and I'm not
my
gonna
only
go on a
problem,
limb.
Lenny, my only problem with that is we've had several meetings with you guys and Rebecca and Mike and I over this exact issue. Not this exact permit or the other permit we're talking about today, but over RVs in the past, septic systems that are installed, we're supposed to be signing off. She's not supposed to be giving the permits until we sign off. We've had this talk, how many times can you recall?
Well, I
Right?
mean,
Another talk, doesn't seem like it's gonna matter. I'd like to see something happen, that would be nice. Anyway, if you wanna move on. Green Mountain Road RV, one we told you about a month, maybe a month and a half ago, still there, hasn't moved.
There's more stuff coming.
Rebecca said, oh, they're gonna move it in, they can't, there's too many stumps there, they cannot move that thing in. It's gotta sit where it is, and someone is staying in it overnight. Right, so we have the same issue now 3 times within several hundred yards on Green Mountain Road, because the issue isn't being solved. Rebecca's not doing what she should be and telling these people they can't do it.
Is that the one with the sign?
Yeah.
In the front door, standing up in the middle of acreage.
Oh, okay, that one,
I showed you
all right.
no, she's been there.
Now, there's another one right across the street from Randy's, the ex-chief. And that one has been there for 3, maybe 4 years now. There's a yurt there, which is a structure illegally put in. There's a camper, there are vehicles, and who knows what else is back there without going in to have a look. How long do these things get to go before, I mean, look what happened. That one came in first, then the one down the street toward us, and then the one up the street toward the town. So this is something that breeds itself.
I would say,
You
is that one
cannot
of the
allow
ones
this
that's
to happen unless
Where?
you expect it to do
Well, some of them are getting fined.
that. That was another question I had. Did the RV permits, the other 2, receive cease and desist orders?
The other,
When the planning board asked you, well, you were the BOS representative, in a unanimous vote to send out cease and desist orders to the boatyard or the boat people that are storing
Yeah.
boats here, along with 2 or 3 RVs that are in town that aren't supposed to be there, that have been squatting for over a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years,
No.
all right, and
The four properties with a lakeside landing, tractor's store, the bait shop, and this green building up here. Those were the 4 properties. There was no RVs involved.
I thought we had brought up the RVs at that time.
Well, you didn't tell me the RVs, it was those 4 properties.
It's just us 4 in the meeting, in that last meeting. RVs have been talked about a lot, but those were not part of that request for cease and desist.
All right. I'd like to request that somebody send a cease and desist order to some of these places, these RVs that are illegally camping. Anyway, what else have I got? Oh boy. Has there been any progress with the townhouse road issue? Have you guys looked into the laws that you're allowed to use to stop any of the things that have been going on?
And as far
Has
as,
there been any movement on
The
that?
bylaws, I think you will.
The bylaws that Mike brought in and supplied you all with.
Audrey's compiling them all together, so that we have something all to look at. So,
Okay, so there is movement. Do you have any kind of estimate of time when?
no, it's kind of busy right now with budgets. So hopefully we'll get to it.
If anyone knows anyone looking for part-time office work, I'm desperately in need.
Okay, I had something I wanted to show you, and I didn't have time to get it printed. But if you can have a look at that, that's damage done to my property on Green Mountain Road. It's eroding all down my hill and into Winter Road and over Winter Road.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it really needs to be, I mean, it doesn't take much, just if somebody could get a little attention there,
Yeah,
it would be,
Ron's aware of it.
before I lose the whole hill.
No, I saw that the other day.
Okay, thank you. And lastly, just an FYI, we didn't see any meeting notification for tonight's meeting.
Yeah, I was looking on the website, I got
Wasn't
it because
there.
I'm on.
Not on for
Facebook.
the whole month.
It's not on, none of these meetings are on and I'm,
Budget committee's not on there either.
yeah, so can somebody put the meetings on when they're scheduled?
It's Teresa.
Is it not the upcoming?
You do that, and it's Teresa do that?
We share it,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
The
see
budget
that,
committee meetings are under the budget committee, it has a select board meeting scheduled under that same schedule, and it's posted out front.
Usually
If it's
it's,
a schedule.
usually it's
It's on the website on
calendar.
the budget committee schedule,
Yeah,
and it
usually,
has the select board times and date
I thought,
posted with that schedule, so.
I thought we had ours as a return meeting that was every 2 weeks, so I haven't looked in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's on that one big schedule that we've done under the budget committee, and what's posted out front too.
Yeah, I got the homepage side that usually happen there.
Yeah.
isn't there?
Yeah, it's not on this.
Okay.
Okay, so you mean the upcoming event?
No. the
No.
calendar,
No, that's
The
on
count,
the
oh.
if
schedule.
you go to the
You're saying
website.
they-
You're saying yes, she's saying
That's
no.
the upcoming events. it's
Oh,
on
is it?
calendar.
Yeah, it's on
That's
on
not
the
right.
events.
Oh, I wouldn't call it that.
No, it's posted.
Yeah, but that,
Can we fix it?
Yep.
you had your hand up.
I just wanted to make a point of order that there was discussion about performance of the town employee, and just to remind you that you want to probably try to halt that before you have any issues. Just to remind you, that's all.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question. Is the
Okay,
Green Mountain project complete?
no, there's still some fine work to do on the shoulders there.
Okay, so they're gonna
Raising
continue
the
the
ditch,
shoulder work,
ditches, yeah,
which was, okay,
the shoulder.
Yeah.
Excuse me, can you tell me your name?
Steve Crockett.
Hi, Steve.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I know,
there's a lot of sections just totally missed. And more on one side is a little more consistent, the other side is just a mess, and there's just big rocks that were left on the road, and we could see already them cars driving over and leaving little divots and stuff in the road, and we're just concerned that, it's just very kind of sloppy.
It's a schedule.
We asked them when they were doing it, and they said, oh, no, we're gonna be coming back to do more, this was over a week ago. And they said within the next day or two, and nobody's been back.
Is there a schedule complete?
No, we have no schedule, but,
Why not?
he's, only a part-time road contractor for us, so
Who's he?
Ron Evans Brothers, yeah.
He does
I mean,
plowing and other.
They do the winter roads and the summer roads, he just has, this is so we can keep guys busy, so, but I mean, right now, there's plenty of work, and this time of year, everybody's scrambling to get stuff done for us, so. He's aware of what he has to do, he knows what he's got left, and
Right.
I've asked him to
But is
roll
somebody,
roll
are you
some-
guys going out to look at the job, like, who's overseeing this?
Yeah, I write that,
The rep.
Cause you gotta take a look at that, our side of the road, it's
yeah,
just,
I've seen it,
yeah.
and I've seen what Dave's talking
And the
about.
more
Yeah.
time goes by, the worse it gets. I mean, people ride over it and it gets
Yeah.
pushed
And
down,
it was like,
eroded away by rain.
but I mean, there was a guy walking behind the truck, and at least he could have been like sweeping the rocks back in, I'm like, "You're not doing anything," I'm like, I'm just a little concerned, because we've been pushing a lot of rocks back, and, I'm just concerned for the road, it's just gonna ruin the
Yeah,
road.
well, they had a makeshift drag behind it, when I saw it, was on an angle, was working very well.
Yeah, it was much better on one side than the other, and I also noticed that they went beyond where the new pavement was, and up to where the boats are that we're talking about, they went all the way up that strip. And, they're running out of material, they should have saved it to put on there where it was needed, but whatever. It's just kind of disappointing, because now we're just kind of waiting and trying to clean up a little bit, so,
He's aware of it.
okay, thank you.
Hey, Lenny, you ready for me?
Not really.
Well, I guess I got a couple of small items to ask you on first, before I get into the weighty one. You mentioned the MS1 valuation. Would you be kind enough to state the numbers of the new valuation for the town?
Should be in the black one.
And the old, if you would.
I
You
don't
can
have
do our
your
own
old.
math.
I don't know.
Do we have a difference?
I don't know.
No, 745,000 current use. Okay, looks like it's four. Oh, that's utilities. 210,438,567.
That sounds like our old numbers.
Okay,
Should be
so
without
less
utilities,
utilities.
without utilities.
Less utilities.
And
Otherwise
with
we'd be
utilities,
212.
should be 212,
But if this is a new,
214.
214.
214, 655.
Yeah.
Yep, that would be it with utilities.
I saw the valuations were down to about 84%.
Oh,
so I
67.
expected a boost.
Yeah, the utilities were 4.2 million, so it's 214,655.
Okay. Thank you for that. The land appeal that you talked about, you went through that folder. Was that a Superior Court mediation for a land?
It's
assessment?
a mediation between the mediator and the town attorney and the plaintiff's attorney. The other attorney. It's not a Superior Court, no.
Right, it's, you have,
Prior to get there.
right,
Yeah.
So no member of the board is representing the town in that, or?
No, it's the town attorney, but anybody that wants to, if any of the board wanted to go sit in on it, they could, so.
Right, okay, all right. And let's see, I suppose that Libby Road, on the hotel stuff, you did get, when you said that the person knows the road,
Yeah, you signed the waiver.
signed the waiver, there you go, that's what I was looking for. Then, with regards to what Mr. Grasso brought up about the bylaws and ordinances that you can enact, is you're collecting stuff, but are you writing, anybody writing the actual ordinance that would get presented? Is that what's taking place?
I'll probably be able to draft one,
Okay.
but I'll need help.
Yeah, I brought it forward so something could be done and put the community at rest for once. It's been going on for 12 years. It's one particular location, and I wouldn't say it's isolated. You know, so. Yeah, I can. I'll try to find some time to share anything with you. Or,
Yeah, give me a couple weeks.
yeah, same here.
Okay.
I got a cut firewood. All right, so I'll get back to you on that. Those two items, and not to beat up the boat storage thing. What I was gonna say is, if the town wanted proof that those boats were privately owned by you as a person, that's easy enough for that individual to supply that information to the zoning officer. However, if it comes back and they're registered to an LLC or, you know, a marina or a business, then that puts that land use into a different category. Now you're using it as a boat contractor's storage yard, and I think that's what people were trying to point out. So then I'm just moving off that. I think that enough's been said. The other thing that I found troubling that I've been hearing is the Bailey Road project has had a hiccup. I've been told that the contractor's dewatering didn't keep up with the project, and now, catch me if I'm wrong, the contractor wants the town to chip in 40 grand or something to rectify the error that he made. Please tell me that it's not true and we're not coughing up money, because then I got a whole lot of questions. Because there should be a bond in place. That's on him to do a job correctly. I understand damage and a failure has been made. And I'll point back to the bid specs. And I mentioned this to Chris Fournier at HEB when the bids came out. I have concerns because two contractors had $120,000 for dewatering. The other guy had $125,000, and this guy had $35,000. And I said, I'm not sure this guy's fully appreciating the lake. And there's a 6.1 square mile watershed that feeds the lake around it. So
we get a meeting Thursday with Dawson and HEB.
Okay.
We'll go over all that.
Because I mean, just from the standpoint of the taxpayer, you signed a contract, that guy's obligated to do the job, and that's on him. Secondly, if you were to say, you know what, we'll give the guy the money, where would that appropriation come from? The town didn't appropriate that money, so I don't think legally you could do it. And so that one's very troubling there, and you should, and I know HEB because I brought him in. Chris is very meticulous on making sure that the Board of Selectmen is fully aware there's a bond sheet that you can waive or sign in on. And I know you guys would have required a bond. It's also state RSA and in our procurement ordinance. So if this guy said, well, if you're gonna stick me with the $40,000 bill for what happened, I'll walk. He should walk because you got a bond to hire somebody else.
Yeah, we got a meeting Thursday.
Okay, my 2 cents. I was very disturbed by hearing it.
How did you hear that?
Well, you know, the town keeps secrets in Effingham. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
There's also a
That's
big
why I
washout
don't think
hole.
it should be brought up and to stir people up.
What's that?
I just think it's bad to start stirring something up because
There's
people
a giant hole full of water on Bailey Road and people need to drive over it. People are stirred up. And I get phone calls because, you know, I'm just one of those people.
But those people may not know that what you mentioned about a $40,000 increase or whatever. I mean,
that's why I'm asking you guys.
That's why I
Well-
came here to get real answers. And Lenny
Well, how'd
says
you come up
Thursday,
with that
I'll wait.
specific amount?
It was mentioned to me that there was a number thrown out somewhere. I'm not gonna
Okay.
say who's saying what or bring anybody into it.
Okay,
I don't think that's the point. The point, there's a project going on in town, something's gone terribly wrong. And I think we should be told about this, and there was no mention in the meeting of it. I was disappointed. Transparency. The people in this town are paying for this project, and it's a big price. And it's the lake, and if that lake has a problem and people can't get to their homes, this is gonna be a nightmare, as well as if that lake has complications. I mean, your tax values, everybody should and be entitled to an abatement to file for it. There would be a tax impact. This is a big front and center item, so a little bit of putting it up there wouldn't hurt, because people are reaching out. And I'm not here to stir it up, Vicky, I'm here to ask the question. If I was sitting on that board right now today, I would expect that question. And I'm surprised that we hadn't heard anything. So anyway, enough on that, I'm not looking to beat you guys up, I just wanna.
Well, like I said,
Question on that.
we get a meeting Thursday,
I accept that.
I have a question on that.
and Audrey did announce at the beginning that we had a work session with HEB and Dawson on Thursday.
I didn't hear that exactly, or any other clarity, but I
What
won't.
time
belabor
is that
that.
meeting?
What's that?
What time is that meeting?
12:05.
45.
And
We have an hour.
Is Mike invited to go to that meeting?
It's public, open to
It's
the
public.
public.
Okay, good.
So, if I may just continue running down, the rest of them are gonna be a lot easier. I just wanna point out, when we are doing enforcement in the town of zoning laws and such, and we apply these fines, which is $275 a day first offense, $550 a day. Second offense, that's by state statute, that's how I had that rewritten, so we would stay current with the money flow. That's not always a very effective method. You actually tend to have to take action, because if nobody responds to that, at some point, you have to take them to court. And what typically happens is New Hampshire, you don't collect that fee. I'll give you an example. We had the place at Lord's Hill, they put a door in, the fur got flying, that went on for quite a period of time, went to court, and these fees tallied up, and they've become ridiculously high amounts of money over a door. The judge is never gonna give you that money. What the judge did award in that case was simply the town's legal fees for having to pursue this, so the town wasn't hurt by it. But you don't often collect any of that money, and you certainly won't collect all of it. The health case that, I've been involved in, that, we're waiting on the decision for, those totals were up about $180,000. If we get our legal fees, I'll be thrilled. I don't expect to see $1 of those fines. So if somebody, an employee of the town or anybody in the town tells you, well, we're applying these fines daily, and you tell that to the public, I think it's misleading, because it really doesn't capture what actually tends to happen. So that was just a clarification, not again to beat you up or argue over it. The last thing I would touch on is RVs, and that is going to be from the health officer's side. My problem with that is I don't want to be the one to have to pull permits from people who felt that they were following the rules because we weren't applying it. But that is potentially what the authority that we have is, that we can pull any permit, a building permit, a permit for an RV, under the statutes in 147, I think it's 16A. So I'm really looking to address with the public, yourselves, Rebecca, a nice way to deal with these RVs and get compliance, because we know the septic waste isn't being handled properly. And our office is not involved at all. We are supposed to be the ones that are approving this and knowing that human waste is not landing on properties, in streams, in our aquifer, and have a way to just enforce the regulations we have on the book. So I very much would like to discuss that at some point, but I think there's enough people in town who've been sounding off that this is a concern, that we give them the opportunity to be noticed and brought in. So it's a broader group of informed people, or people who have an opinion one way or the other. So that was just to end the RV discussion from tonight, hopefully. So thank you for that. I do believe I've run out of stuff that I wanna bring up, so I'll yield the floor.
I just have one thing. With just how busy everything has been for everyone, are the selectmen considering going back to every week meetings?
Absolutely, guys.
We haven't considered it, but I wouldn't be against it.
I think it might be time.
It's too long of a span. People
It
can't
is.
get it. People have left that I know came here and wanted to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
2
It
weeks.
is, 2 weeks is a long time.
It's crazy in a town that, I tell people, when I used to sit there, it's like, we're not New York, but this town never sleeps. I mean, something happens, a tree in the middle of the night, an emergency happens, and people gotta wait 2 weeks to, 13 days from tomorrow to get back to
If
say.
we can get office out, we may be doing that. So,
And time of the meeting. I'm not an advocate of going back, but could go later. I mean, it's at the same time, you could be thinking about it.
Yeah, we used to always open at 5, and then we'd kill a half hour on the folders, and I kind of miss hearing what's in the folders, because that's part of the meeting, I always thought. So I know people want to streamline it, but that does nothing for everybody in the public who wants to actually have an understanding of what's going on. And when you pull something out of the folder, you may discuss it, it might be something that we're interested in, so.
Yeah, and also if you can introduce the people that you're bringing up, sometimes we don't know who they are, just to know this is so and so.
well, that's right, then.
Yeah, so it just, but I think more people would come if they, had updates, and it'd also be nice just to get updates on the site, what's going on with Green Mountain, what's going on with this, and sorry there's been a delay, but we're getting back to, because there's a lot of complaining going on. And
Welcome to Effingham.
I know.
This is a sport in this town, it's been here for years.
I wouldn't call it complaining.
Oh, I complain.
It's actually a different letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so instead of people just getting frustrated, just say, there's been a delay, or they're going to get to it, but they're still, shoulder work is still coming, because, no, we just wanna hear from you guys that this is what's happening, or, yeah, we're watching it, it's sorry there's been a delay, but, I mean, I don't know how many weeks of dust I had to deal with in our house. It was a mess there for over a month or 2 months.
So what you're referring to is maybe some kind of a
Yeah, just
posting on the
a posting
website.
on the site that says, here's this project, here's what's going on. We have a delay, the shoulder work is going to be done, it's going to be finished, great. Then you could just point people, oh, it's over there, here, look at the site. And there's another meeting coming up if you'd like to ask more questions. But I'd rather not read through a thread of stuff in our town just because people are frustrated, but just tell us what's going on. It would be a nicer thing just to have it posted, and even just the meetings, when are they happening on the calendar? Have it, all the meetings posted. Somebody wants to attend, we can come and attend. I had to go ask around, because I heard from Susan that I'm on, but what do you mean? I don't see a selectman meeting that day. And they're like, there is one. I'm like, oh, where is it? And I was trying to find minutes, I was trying to find what's gonna be posted. I didn't see anything, so I felt like, I wanna see what's going to be talked about in the agenda. So I think that would be helpful. It really would maybe solve some of this bickering or whatever, because it's not fun for me. There's nothing to do if you take away the bickering.
Okay.
But anyway, so that's it.
Can we make it quick?
Yeah. Yeah, just wanna make a comment, I find it very disappointing personally, that the only way that I'm finding about stuff going on in town is when Mike brings it up. And then he gets dumped on for bringing it up. And I don't think that's right. We need more reports, Lenny, of what's going on. We're not gonna hear, just because if Mike doesn't show up, we don't know what's going on. That's not good.
I didn't dump on him, I didn't.
No, Vicky did.
No.
All right, so that's it. All I'm saying is, we're finding out because Mike brings it up. That isn't right.
We always struggle with messaging, to be fair, at the board level. Trying to get the message out to the townsfolk it's a monumental thing that I certainly haven't figured out how to reach everybody. But to this young lady's point, Facebook is horrible. It's that you can't trust the information, people are grinding axes, the false accusations that I get calls about, that's being posted about me years later. It's just like, you can't counter that, what are you supposed to do, argue with everybody all day?
Everybody's bulletproof on social media.
Well, until they pull into my yard, but just kidding. But no, you know, maybe that is something to really try to think on is a way to do some more messaging. Maybe even beyond the website that's so busy, maybe there's some kind of a bulletin board that we could, a separate page or something that could get revised so that you can go right to just a list of things that are happening today, this week, this month, clear it off, you know, something, just throwing it there.
Our old town used to send out a calendar on one side and a newsletter on the other side. What would it cost to do that every month?
What do we gotta pay you?
Well, I could do it, but I'm not going to. But you know, there's a lot of people that don't have computers. There's a lot of people that are not on Facebook. Everybody gets mail, right? So why not once a month, at the end of the month, send out a calendar with everything that's scheduled? And a nice little newsletter saying, hey, we're working on this month, we're working on this month, you know? Something to think about.
Can you add that to your postage budget?
But yeah, before you go see this guy in the corner, give it some thought, he needs some fun.
Okay,
Okay, thanks, Steve.
anybody else? Say anything?
We're adjourned.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Steve, you're gonna.
Steve,
Hey, Steve, wait a minute, you gotta meet people. Strangers. You gotta meet them.
Couple copies of this. Grab a couple copies.
A coffee, I thought you said coffee, and I was gonna say I need something stronger than that.
I'm heading for something stronger than that.
I am too.
Lenny, Audrey's gonna have you sign all those sheets after she corrects them. Then I'll get them and post them on the web.